Chapter 7. The train stopped. Ronnie looked out of the window and saw 2 Indians. They were wearing buckskin trousers and vests. One of them was tall and had a feather in his long black hair. He looked serious. The other one was short.
"Hey guys, look at those Indians,"
said Ronnie.
"They're waiting to get on the train."
Wow, they're wearing their traditional clothes,
said Sandy.
Perhaps they're the 2 prisoners and they're dressed up as Indians,
said Eric.
Of course they aren't,
said Nina.
They are real Indians. The prisoners are already on the train. They are watching us, remember?
The Indians got on the train and walked towards the adventurers.
May we sit with you?
Asked the tall Indian.
The train is full.
The adventurers looked at each other. They were excited. They wanted to ask the Indians many questions.
Of course,
said Sandy.
Sit down.
"What is your name?"
Ronnie asked the tall Indian. The Indian smiled and said,
My name is One-Eyed Eagle. This is Black Horse. We come from the Great Plains.
The Great Plains?
said Eric. He turned to Sandy and asked,
Where are the Great Plains?
They are the states right in the middle of the USA,
explained Sandy.
Oh,
said Eric. The adventurers introduced themselves to the Indians.
"We are the adventurers,"
said Ronnie.
"We are a band."
we have dreams of becoming rich and famous.
said Eric.
well, at least famous,
said Sandy.
We're traveling to New York,
said Nina.
We're going to perform there. We missed our plane, so we took the train.
Traveling by train is great, isn't it?
said Sandy.
You can see a lot of different things.
Where are you going?
asked Eric.
We are going to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. There are Indian reservations there,
said One-Eyed Eagle.
"The train stops in Harrisburg for 20 minutes, doesn't it?"
asked Ronnie.
Yes,
said One-Eyed Eagle.
I like your feather,
said Nina.
thank you.
said One-Eyed Eagle.
A long time ago, feathers were very important to the Indian people. You see, feathers showed the brave things that somebody did. For example, kill an enemy.
Oh,
said Sandy. She was a little frightened.
We have enemies too,
said Nina.
What do you mean?
asked Black Horse. The adventurers looked at each other. Ronnie suddenly had an idea. Chapter 8.
Hey, boss,
said Charlie.
I want to ask you something. Why are we going to meet the kids at the top of the Empire State Building in New York?
Because it's safe.
said Joe.
There are lots of tourists there and nobody will recognize us.
You're very clever, boss.
Charlie said. He thought for a minute and then said,
We're hiding from the police, right?
Of course we are, you idiot!
said Joe.
They are looking for us everywhere.
Then he said,
Charlie, I'm hungry. I'm going to the dining car. You stay here. Keep an eye on the kids. They may get us into trouble.
Yes, boss.
said Charlie. He was watching the adventurers.
Look, boss,
He said,
I'm keeping an eye on 'em.
Good.
said Joe.
I'll be back in about half an hour.
A few minutes later, the train arrived in Harrisburg. When the train stopped, there were people everywhere. Some were getting on, and others were getting off. 3 Indians got off the train, too. Sandy and Ronnie waved to the Indians, and they waved back. One-Eyed Eagle winked at the adventurers. Ronnie looked at the girls and said,
Let's hope this plan will work.
Charlie was watching the adventurers. Suddenly he saw a beautiful woman.
May I pass, sir?
She asked politely,
Sure, madam. Here, let me take that.
said Charlie, and helped her with her suitcase. Ronnie sat down and took the backpack.
Eric is gone.
He said,
Now we can look inside the backpack, right?
Right.
Sandy agreed.
No!
Screamed Nina and grabbed the backpack from Ronnie.
Why not?
Asked Sandy,
We mustn't open it.
said Nina.
I think Eric is right. It may be dangerous.
Oh, come on, Nina.
Said Sandy.
We must know.
They were quiet for a minute. Then Ronnie said,
I'm curious. What's inside the backpack?
Perhaps it's somebody's jewelry.
said Sandy.
Or guns?
Whispered Ronnie,
Okay. Here you are.
said Nina, and gave Ronnie the backpack.
Open it.
Chapter 9. Ronnie took the backpack. He was anxious, but he was also a little frightened, and his hands were shaking.
It's not very heavy, is it?
He thought.
Shall I open it, Ronnie?
Asked Sandy.
No, I'll do it.
Said Ronnie. He closed his eyes and put his hand inside the backpack.
Oh, it's just papers.
He said. He was disappointed. Then he took out the largest piece of paper, unrolled it, and said,
This is a map.
What do they want a silly map for?
Asked Sandy.
I don't know.
Said Ronnie.
Let's put the map on the seat and study it.
We must be careful.
Said Nina.
The prisoners are watching us.
They all turned and looked around, but nobody was there.
Good.
Said Sandy.
We're alone, for now.
What's that? At the top of the map.
Ronnie asked.
I can't make it out.
Nina looked closely at the map and read,
NRTV Music Awards. NRTV?
She whispered loudly.
This is a map of the Glory Days Music Hall. They're going to be there tonight, too. But why?
And how did they get this map?
Asked Sandy. At that moment, the train left the station. Nina looked up and said,
Look, guys, Eric is coming.
Ronnie quickly hid the map behind his back. Eric was still dressed up as an Indian. He was smiling.
Did you call your cousin?
Asked Nina.
What did he say?
Asked Sandy.
Tell us.
He'll help us.
Said Eric.
How?
Asked Ronnie.
We'll go to the top of the Empire State Building and leave the backpack.
Said Eric.
It's safer that way. Dan'll be there too.
The other three were smiling.
Why are you smiling like that?
Asked Eric. Then he looked at the backpack and said to the others,
You didn't open it, did you?
Yes, we did.
said Sandy.
Don't get angry.
We found something interesting.
Said Ronnie.
What did you find?
Asked Eric. He was excited now.
A map of the Glory Days Music Hall.
Said Ronnie and showed it to Eric.
What do they want this map for?
Asked Eric.
Let's find out.
Said Ronnie. They all looked at the map.
Look at these 2 circles.
Said Sandy.
This one is around a box. What is it?
It's an electricity switch box.
Said Eric.
Look at the switches and cables.
Here are the seats.
Said Ronnie.
There's a red circle here, too, around seat number 3.
There's a name next to it.
Said Nina.
Erica Hoffman.
Who's that?
Asked Eric.
It's Erica Hoffman, the famous German opera singer.
Said Sandy.
I've read about her. She's one of the guests at the music awards.
Why are the prisoners interested in her?
Asked Nina.
Well,
Said Sandy.
she is a very rich woman.
Perhaps they want to rob her then.
Said Nina.
Or kidnap her.
Said Ronnie.
Or kill her.
Said Sandy.
But how?
Asked Nina.
Perhaps they will switch off the electricity at the awards.
Eric explained.
There will be a lot of noise and confusion and dark, and...
Suddenly, Nina looked at Eric's clothes and said,
Eric, you must change quickly. The prisoners must not see you like that.
Joe left the dining car. He was full and felt sleepy.
I'll take a nap.
He thought,
Charlie's keeping an eye on the kids.
but Charlie was sitting opposite the beautiful woman. He was looking only at her.